Welcome to Cloud Dialogues. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We're back. Another episode of Cloud Dialogues. Hey, Georgia, how you doing?
Good evening.
Surviving the heat?
We are only just though. I feel like half the world is in a heat wave right now, except for Australia, which is unusual. Usually it's the
It's
other way around.
cold.
Australia is in a heat wave and everyone else is freezing. At the moment, everyone else is in a heat wave.
Yeah, it's a bit cold, but that's okay. I think it was the longest day and shortest day of the year as well yesterday. So,
Was it?
in case you weren't aware, yep, equinox. And for us, it was the shortest day. So from every day onwards till summer, it is getting longer for us. So awesome for that.
Yeah. It gets depressing when it's dark all the time. Although not as bad in Melbourne as it is in London.
It was very sunny today and yesterday, which is good.
I hope the sun will come out when I'm in Melbourne/Sydney.
Yeah, we're all excited for George's Melbourne Australian tour. Tickets are all sold out, I believe, so she'll be very busy.
Indeed.
Let's go through the news items and then we'll go through our first agentic experiment episode. So,
Exciting.
with the news, the first piece of news this week, which a lot of people were talking about, was the old Andy Jassy letter. So what's that all about?
I guess he wrote to all his shareholders. He wrote a letter because it was directed at shareholders, right? I think it was directed at shareholders, basically saying that.
Oh, and employees. Yeah, it says employees as well.
Yeah, saying that they expect that AI will reshape the workforce, or well, I don't know whether he actually said to reduce. I don't think that the actual letter said that he would reduce. I think what he said in the letter was that some roles would not be required anymore and different roles would be required. But I just think this is advertising, Matt, as you know.
Yeah,
that's my right. It was a down day for Amazon stocks.
Yeah.
Say something about AI.
Say something. Look, we're doing so much in AI that, we're going to reshape our workforce. So I don't know if that's
we're
a good thing.
We're going to be able to get rid of people.
Or a bad thing.
Well,
but that's always happened. Technology has moved,
Of course.
Like the cloud, doing cloud stuff is required different resourcing mix as well, because it's a kind of, it can be a different skill set if you haven't reskilled yourself.
So he did say we expect that this will reduce our total corporate workforce. I don't know whether when they say corporate workforce, they mean like supporting functions like HR, marketing, as opposed to like operations. Does what I'm saying make sense?
That's a good point, actually.
Well, yeah. So this is the thing. Point. I don't know that, because I think that they consider their corporate workforce to be all those supporting functions as opposed to like actual, say, product development or whatever, whichever teams are like running EC2 or whatever, S3, whatever that is. So I don't know that that's clear. But again, I just think this is advertising. I think it's like, we're so good at AI that we can start to reduce our headcount. It's like, well, previous experience says that that's not the case, i.e. look at Amazon Fresh.
Yeah, that's true. Remember that.
We use ML to get rid of workforce. Actually, it was just a whole bloody operation center sitting in India.
Yeah, that was funny. And that was fairly recent too, right? Late last year. Or sometime last year that
very recent
came about.
Very recent. Honestly.
I mean, around the AI and jobs thing, it is a little bit concerning, like for graduates and things like that, because obviously AI is pretty good, especially for software development roles, because AI is actually pretty good for those sorts of things now. And the problem is you need to be trained in it and have knowledge to know whether AI is doing a good job or not. So there's a lot of senior people, but I'm wondering if junior people get scared away and not even enter the software development industry. So it'll be interesting to see how that mix comes up. I mean, I don't know if AI is going to keep getting better and better at software dev, but it'd be interesting to see if there's a maximum point where it gets as good as it can and then it requires a human to do the rest. Yes, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, in the end, AI is probably not going to be able to like necessarily translate a human requirement unless you can prompt engineer really well, right? So I feel like this is again, it comes back to are you good at are you a first class prompt engineer? And my view
That's
is
right.
that will it shocks me when I meet people that are not using AI for productivity, because my view is right now is that if you've not developed your prompt engineering skills, you're already behind.
Yep. It's very important at the moment because it does help you be more efficient, but you also have to learn how to do it properly and how to interpret the results
Yes.
properly, and so it's a whole different sort of skill set. Next article we've got is BBC threatening Perplexity for reproducing their content verbatim without their permission. So for those who don't know, Perplexity are a AI search firm, and they scour the web for usually current events or different categories of topics and make it easily searchable with references and stuff. So it's a good sort of search engine to be able to search for current topics and specifically things around tech and all that sort of stuff, and get decent sort of results in plain text. Whereas Google search still has trouble with that, although I think they're looking at fixing that up. And Perplexity is used in a lot of AI agents and bots and stuff as well, because of that reason, it takes plain search and allows you to get decent results from it. So I don't know how many.
Never actually used it.
I don't know how many of these firms take legal action against AI organisations, but that one's popped up on the news over the last couple of days.
I mean, when they say reproduce, do we know what specifically they mean? Because are they just like referencing the data? Because if they're just
No,
referencing the data,
verbatim.
then surely that's fine, right? So they're not referencing the source. Is that what the
Well,
problem
no,
is?
that's well, I don't. Well, that's a good question because in theory, Perplexity does reference the source.
Well, yeah, this is what I don't understand. It's like, surely it's the same as anything, right? As if you're referencing the source, then
Yeah.
generally that's acceptable if you're referencing the source, right? But if you're not, then
Yeah.
that's another thing, right? So I don't understand why this is the problem, or like why this is such a drama. Like, why are they so concerned about this? Producing BBC
Yeah.
content verbatim without his permission. Well, I mean, everyone's, I'm sure, referencing the BBC without permission. They're a news provider.
That's right.
Interesting.
Maybe
I
it
feel like
might
it's
just be a
just,
test case.
well, yeah, this is it, right? Is people are testing the water, but to me, this is not really different. And like, what are you going to do? Go after every student that references the BBC News in their assignments?
Yeah, I know.
Like, this just doesn't make any sense to me. In the end, they're providing a link to your business. So, what's the
I know.
issue?
Well, they should be. Yeah. And in the same vein, Apple is eyeing a purchase of Perplexity. So that came out in the last couple of days as well. So it looks like obviously Apple needs to they've got a bunch of cash and they're always on the lookout to buy things. That would be probably good for their AI environment and their broader AI strategy, because it hasn't been actually that good up until now. Because they had to cancel one of the iOS
Gemini had a
updates
lot of
a while back,
issues.
remember?
Yeah,
Badly
yeah.
summarizing text messages and things. It might be slightly better now, but I guess they feel like they have to incorporate AI in everything rather than what it's, useful for.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, some things that it surprises me the things that have been done and the things that haven't been done. Like just simple things like, you know, I know, say for instance, I have errands to run at certain places. Why does my
Oh
phone not
yeah,
tap me when I'm near there and say, hey, why don't you go and do this now? You know what I mean? Like, to me, these are
that's a
just
good idea.
simple features. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I get frustrated by because it's like I've got so much to do on my list all the time. And some of it, unfortunately, requires doing stuff in person. And it's like, why doesn't my phone remind me when I'm near there?
Yeah,
Just things like that. Or like, why doesn't it look at my schedule and think, oh, you've been meaning to fit this in. Why don't you go and do that while you're doing the other thing? You know what I mean? Like it's just simple
yeah, little
things.
quality of life things.
Yeah, yeah, just to help me be more effective. We should create that. I feel like that would be really useful. Something that can read my calendars and like actually provide some input, useful
Smarts.
input.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Although they did release information on the new iOS, the yearly sort of update a couple of weeks ago. I wonder if there's some AI stuff in that.
Should we
Let,
ask
let me just
GPT?
have a quick look.
Yeah.
Edit point. iOS 26. Here we go. Oh no, my mouse. Okay, it's working. They've updated the appearance. Great. Blah 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 blah. Is there any AI?
iOS
Apple Wallet.
26. Is that legitimately
Yeah.
what we're up to? Jesus,
Yes.
make me feel very old. So I think all of the Apple Intelligence features are iPhone 15 Pro or newer. I don't think I'll get it then. I think I need to upgrade. Thing is, living in London,
Right.
I'm
What?
so scared to upgrade because of all the constant phone theft.
Yes.
It's like
What
a
do you want for
constant
then?
threat. I think I'm on a 14, yeah. Because I don't see the need to upgrade that regularly, Matt. Like to me, it
Yeah.
just seems
I
like
know.
like people that upgrade their phone. When I was younger, I used to upgrade my phone every year, and now I'm just like, why on earth would I do that? That's just crazy. And also, it's so bad for the environment. Also, I have like three
Yeah.
phones. Did you know that?
You currently have three.
I have three phones. Yes,
No, I didn't know you have three. I knew you had.
yes, three.
How do you have
So
three?
and I think I've got an 11, a 14, and something else. I don't know what my work one is. I don't know what it is. I have to check.
Oh, so you got
It's
two. You
small.
got two personal
I've
ones.
got two. Yeah, I've got two like iPhone Pros, Pro Maxes, but one of them's really quite old.
A burner.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to have a burner. You've absolutely got to have a burner. Having a burner is essential. My burner.
Really? I don't.
Yeah, in case I need to speak to, or I need to give a number to someone that I don't really know, or like, because
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
don't carry
idea.
it with me all the time. I just have it, I leave it at home. So I don't always
Yeah.
have it with me unless I'm like expecting someone to contact me.
Yeah.
No, having a burner is essential. Did you get any answers? It seems like there are a few AI features coming.
Just a
Hopefully they
couple.
cover
Yeah.
that
I
thing
think.
that I've just said.
Yeah, that'd be good. They've got.
That would be
I
so
think
useful.
they're just continually going to improve Apple Intelligence, but there's not a huge amount in there. So maybe we won't discuss it.
I think it's an interesting shout though, because if they're not really putting much in there, it's like, well, clearly, you know, I think similarly with Google, they're struggling with all of this a little bit.
Yeah. But the AI stuff will probably just remain in the background, which is probably where it should be a lot of the time.
What do you mean?
Like as in background for the other features. Like, for example, Apple Maps. Oh, well, it says Apple Maps log where you've been. A wallet will give you more context when traveling. Because it could use AI for a lot of those things. Maybe I'll just quickly talk about that.
Should we keep going? Where were we?
Yep. Added point, just a side note, there was the iOS update, WWDC a couple of weeks ago from Apple. And since we're talking about Apple, they've got some updates coming up in iOS 26. We couldn't believe
26.
that we're up to 26.
26. That's wild. It's made
So
me feel very old.
Yeah. It looks like they're just going to continually update. Apple Intelligence probably get smarter, I guess. Visual intelligence will expand to the iPhone screen. I don't even know what visual intelligence is.
Yeah, I don't even know what visual intelligence is either. Capture what's on screen
insights.
for smart interaction.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's might be interesting. And then Apple Wallet will give you more context while traveling as well, which might be useful. So yeah, and I think there's a lot of just sort of GUI updates and stuff.
Mm-hmm. We
So
need that
that's
feature
Apple.
that I mentioned. I need that feature.
Yeah, to know, where I'm here, you need to do these things, Georgia.
Why don't remind me while I'm actually there.
Otherwise, you'll have to travel there again next week. I think we talked about in the last episode the XAI Grok models, doing a bit of a partnership with Microsoft. Well, it appears they've done in partnership with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure as well. So in the last week, Oracle have selected, XAI selected Oracle to offer XAI's Grok models as well. I didn't even know Oracle actually had were hosting models, but anyway, I guess they are.
I mean, basically, Oracle has, and don't ask me why I know this, they have a bunch of AI native capability in OCI, is my understanding. So, like, say for instance, you have like ERP in the cloud, in like Oracle Cloud.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can like ask ERP, so you can like talk to ERP in natural language. So that's the sort of features that Oracle does. That, am I making a lick of sense?
Yeah, yep. Quality of life for their enterprise customers. So they're probably
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there is quite a bit. There is quite a bit there. How well it works, I don't know. But interestingly, I mean, obviously, OpenAI and Oracle are partnering on AI infrastructure. So Oracle's kind of doing a lot in this space. Yeah, I feel like.
OpenAI as well. Okay.
Well, that's on infrastructure. That's just on the infrastructure, right? So Oracle's going to deliver the infrastructure. They're going to deliver some of that
that's right. I remember
hyperscale
that.
infrastructure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like off because there was originally the CoreWeave agreement, and then the Oracle ones come out, so they obviously want some diversity. But Oracle's definitely got a lot going on in this space. I feel like they're doing a little bit better than some of the hyperscalers in terms of AI capability.
Yeah, Oracle. Yeah, maybe.
But I guess when you have certain types of data that's structured in certain ways, it's easier to be proactive in that way, right? Because you better know what the requirement is, as opposed to the hyperscalers who are like dealing with hyper sophisticated requirements.
Oh, it's like Microsoft, right? They've had AI in all their products for a while now. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how well it works for them, and they were probably one of the first with all their Copilot branding everywhere.
I find Copilot to be average, and it's because it's supposed to be backed by ChatGPT, right? But interestingly, I find Anthropics to be substantially better for like working with unstructured data, which is the bulk of what I do, right? I find Copilot to be average. To me, it's like an old version of ChatGPT. I don't know why it feels like that way.
Yeah, I wonder which model it is at the back end and how.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but I would rather any day that I can use Anthropic, I'll use Anthropic. I think it's substantially better, especially with like extended reasoning. Oh, it's so useful. It's like tell me what tell like tell me X and then tell me why how you came up with that. It's amazing, amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty useful.
Oh, so
Cool.
useful.
So that's the news.
Is that everything?
Yep. We've got a very interesting topic today, I think, which our fans will enjoy.
Maybe quite I said listeners.
Added
Hopefully we
point.
have some listeners.
Today, I think we'll have a topic that our listeners will enjoy. I'm pretty sure.
Fingers
Because I'm
crossed.
pretty sure I'll enjoy it too.
Oh, I'm really excited for this. So we've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks. Well, how did this come up again? I think did I send
It
you
was
I
random.
sent Matt a voice note or something and I was like, I have an idea. He was probably like, oh God, kill me. She's got another idea. Run, run.
Your ideas are usually pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Likewise, I mean, we come up with good ideas together.
Yes.
This is what do we call it? We have some, um,
Collaboration.
yes, but also psychological safety. So,
Yes.
if one of us comes up with an idea that seems a bit nutty, the other person's like, okay, like we can indulge this for a while. So I came up with an
And
idea a couple weeks ago, and I think I sent Matt a voice note or a text or something, and I said, Matt, what if agentic AI could build and run a whole business? And what if, as part of Cloud Dialogues, we did that as an experiment? So that was my idea. And I think he was a bit like, okay, let's have a think about how we would do that. And then we spent a bit of time last week kind of talking through how we would do that. But we're going to talk through today on today's episode a little bit about our kind of thought process because I think that's important as well. When we talk about like architecture, how do you get to, like problem or like,
how do you build it? Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, how do you go all the way from problem to like technical solution, right? In a way that meets a business need. So the idea is here that we do that, we essentially run the whole value stream through all the way from ideation to solutioning to architecture to deployment to run using agentic AI. So that's the challenge that we've set ourselves for this kind of I guess we're doing a bit of a series on this now, aren't we, Matt?
Yeah, we can't finish it
And
today. So
no, no, no,
listeners,
no,
don't
no.
expect a
Well,
result today.
we're not going to have a result today, but what we are going to do is we're going to come up with some product ideas today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to invite a series of different guests to help us, all the way from like prompt engineering to like architecture, to, like ethical guardrails and technical guardrails and governance. So these are all the things that we're going to the plan is that this is going to be a reasonably significant venture. So hopefully you're going to join us for it. And I thank you for that. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to use a couple of different tools, agentic AI tooling, to go and generate some product ideas. Obviously, this is going to be a digital product because we can't be going and agentic AI is probably not going to be building houses anytime soon. But, well, you never know. See where this
That's right.
goes, right? I like to dream big, as you know, Matt. I've got a big
Oh,
vision
that's right.
for whatever we're doing.
This is like a definitely a think big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know how it's going to turn out, but we can learn together and come up with the ideas and work out how to do it. That's part of the fun.
Yeah. Yes, and we want to obviously bring our listeners on that journey as well, right? As we run these series, please give us your ideas, thoughts, critiques. Tell us your guest ideas because I want to, as always, I want to have a diverse variety of guests on Cloud Dialogues. That's one of our, core tenets of operating. So please send us your ideas.
Agents assemble.
So the idea is obviously we get to a point where we almost can have like basically zero human intervention in running this, right? Well, I mean, that's the big
There'll be
vision.
some.
That's the big vision. There's gonna have to be some human intervention, especially as we start. But we're going to be building, right? We're building, and the idea is we get to a point where we almost don't really intervene. So that's basically the big vision. Should we, Matt? Do you want to kind of introduce the rise of like agents and co-pilots and how all this kind of might look from a technical perspective? As a big
So we have to think about what an AI agent actually is. And I mean, ultimately, I think when you use an LLM, you're prompting something, right? You want some outcome.
Mm-hmm.
An AI agent is usually an expert in a particular thing. So you might have agents that can do research. You have agents that might be a product manager. If you think of all the different roles in a team, that's basically what each agent is. And one thing that you can do with LLMs is there's two prompts. There's the user prompt, which is the one you normally use when you're searching for something or summarizing something. But there's a system prompt. And this is really important because that's what tells the LLM who they should act as. And you can put a bunch of guardrails in there. So, you're a deep research agent and you can put all the parameters around that. So you're kind of telling it how to respond to you. And you can have like structured responses, like you can say, respond like this, talk like a parrot, for example. That's a system prompt. And then everything you type in will, come back. Or talk like a pirate. Pirate. Probably a better one.
I love that. I was literally just about to say that. I was like, talk like a pirate.
Parrot. I don't even know why I said parrot. Anyway, talk like a pirate.
To the same place.
Yeah. Everything would come back. It's same concept. It's literally, that's all an agent is, really. And then the other part is an agent is usually made up of tools. We talked about MCPs last episode. Effectively, it's the same thing. Think of MCPs.
Or A to A as well. It's coming up a lot lately.
And we'll be doing some agent-to-agent stuff as well. So
I feel like that's going to be the core of it, no?
It will be, because you have an orchestra.
Eventually.
Well, one of the agents will be the orchestrator that orchestrates between all the,
between the C-suite.
Agents.
There'll be
pretty much.
agent, head of
CEO,
marketing, agent, COO. It will just be
CTO and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, you don't start there, but it'll build out to be like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Tools. And each agent has its tools to do whatever it needs to do. So when it's given a task by the orchestrator, the orchestrator pattern is one pattern for doing multi-agents, and that's probably the one that makes most sense for us, but we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. That's my hypothesis.
And I feel like everything's evolving so fast. So it might be by the time we've gotten there in a few weeks' time that there's some new protocol or like regime that we can use to orchestrate all of this.
Yeah. So the other important thing is that there's different types of memories. So there's a short-term memory and there's long-term memory. So the short-term memory is usually, over a few prompts because it remembers, it has some tools. It's using the tools to work out a problem or do research or look up data from an API or documentation or whatever the tool is. And it'll kind of talk to itself going through our tools to answer the prompt that it's given. And that short-term memory is used just for that purpose. And as soon as that's finished, that short-term memory is gone. So think of it like human short-term memory, I guess.
Well, essentially, we might be like collecting a lot of data over time in order to distill that long-term memory.
Yeah, exactly right. And then you return the data to the orchestrator and it'll probably get saved to the long-term memory. So when the orchestrator, it won't be running all the time. It'll probably be a
Yeah.
Lambda function or something, right?
We're going to make it
as soon as
serverless, right? Because we're serverless fiends.
that's right. So we have to start every time the orchestrator agent starts up, it needs to load its long-term memory so it knows, where it left off. Otherwise, it would be a baby again and have to start everything from scratch. So they're the kind of the main concepts at a very high level around agents. So I guess so we're going to start off with a couple of tools, LLMs to help us do some initial research, and we'll do that today. So we're going to use Claude Opus, which is the sort of the reasoning rich research agent.
The agentic version of Claude, which is amazing, by the way. It blows my mind every day.
And we'll compare that with what Gemini 2.5 Pro gives us as well.
Should we get another LLM to assess each of the results?
Oh, we could do that.
We could do that.
We could get ChatGPT.
Actually, we could get OpenAI.
We could use just the free version of ChatGPT to review those results. Yeah.
Let's get OpenAI to review the results. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So firstly, we need to come up with like some really high level requirements, right?
Yep.
And I know we spoke a little bit about this the other day. I guess the idea is that obviously once we have an idea, we can kind of then start using agents to build out the architecture and the guardrails, etc. So, but first we need to come up with the idea. So there's like a product development, right? So how are we going to prompt Claude and Gemini, Matt? What are the requirements that we're going to give Claude and Gemini?
Well, that's the $1 million question.
So what have we got, Matt?
We've got some requirements that we've come up with. So one is that it needs to be completely digital business. And it can't involve any physical elements.
Obviously, we want something that can be built on AWS, right? Should we say even specifically built on cloud, ideally serverless?
Yeah.
Because I think we're just going to add that in. Yeah, all right. So add that in. So
and it should obviously it should be some sort of service consumable via a website. So we need the LLM to find an underserved problem in a specific industry, not even giving the industry, that could be solved with a digital only product, avoiding physical infrastructure, estimating the size of the addressable market for this problem. So obviously we need some evidence around how big the problem is, what the market is, lists of competitors who are already addressing this market.
Total addressable market.
And also explaining the gap that the solution will fill.
So it's almost like working backwards. We're almost like working backwards. Like, what's a problem that we could solve here, right?
And outlining the core features is so super important because that'll address the value that this solution provides to the problem. Describing, so then I guess we're going into the potential tech stack and high-level architecture, I guess. Let's maybe call it high-level architecture.
Yep. High-level target architecture.
And we prefer serverless.
Yes.
And autonomous agents.
Enabled by autonomous agents. That's it. Actually, the solution might have agents in it too. Let's see. Propose a pricing model and monetization strategy. That'll be an interesting one. Explain I'm very intrigued to see what Opus and Gemini come back with.
Suggesting a go-to market for the MVP. Obviously, minimum viable product is key because build the minimum possible just to see if you can solve the problem at a very basic level. And including customer personas as well. which is also super important for MVP because your MVP needs to address at least one or two of these personas initially.
Yeah.
Oh, and also we need to make sure that we've got any challenges around ethics, compliance, around that, and propose any guardrails that we need to put in place
I feel like guardrails are going to be really important here. If we've got agents running around, we need to make sure. And this, I feel like there will be an element of like, we'll need to tell the agents to come and talk to us in natural language sometimes.
The decision, we might need a decision.
Yeah, a decision on something, especially when we're like early days, because we'll still be testing the logic and capability, right? So we'll need it to come and ask us questions. So Matt and I are going to be the interim CEO and CTO until we can get agents to take over our roles. Yeah, with confidence. And then we become a human in the loop.
Agent Matt and Agent Georgia.
Agent Matt and Agent Georgia. Exactly. Yes. And then success metrics. So if we go and build the thing, what do we need to achieve within 3-6 months? And then finally, what I want both Opus and Gemini to do is to give us 3 ideas each. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get OpenAI to assess the 6 ideas and tell us which one to go with. And then, and this is an experiment, right? So we might go and start building one and then realize that it's not going to work and then have to go back to ideation, agentic ideation. I like that. So, all right. So we're going to take a break whilst we go and run this. Do we call it a role, Matt? What did you call it, a role the other day? You gave the agent a role, and then is that what you said?
Yeah, a role. Yeah, it's basically a role.
A scope of work. A scope of work.
Yeah, a scope of work. It's like a role. What's the role that goes and does research? It's research and develop. It's probably a researcher, effectively.
A research agent. Yeah.
Market researcher. Okay. Market researcher.
Market researcher. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a break whilst we go and run the agents, and then we'll be back and we're going to talk through what the outcomes are. All right, so Claude Opus has gone off and done research, and it's given us 3 key options. What happened with Gemini, Matt?
Gemini has, so in deep research mode, it took about 10 minutes and it's come back with a service to help niche consulting firms do market intelligence. So it's like it's misunderstood the requests, or my prompt, it's taken my prompt a little bit too literally.
But it totally worked with Claude, right? Claude totally understood. Well, we fed exactly the same prompt into Claude as we did in Gemini. Claude totally understood the requirement, gave us back 3 different options, and Gemini has just got off and created something completely different. So
that's right.
We're going to go try to fix that. I think we're going to 20-page doc that thinks it's creating it looks like thinks it's creating a market research firm.
Pretty much.
Okay, so
run by AI agents, by the way.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go and try and fix that, and we'll come back. We'll be right back with you. All right, we have fixed the Gemini problem. So for some reason, we had to add some additional prompting to Gemini to make sure that it did exactly what we wanted it to do, but it's fixed now. But it did take a while, didn't it, Matt?
Well, the second time it didn't take as long.
Okay, but it took 10 minutes the first time and then gave us back. Yeah, okay.
It was a deep research the first time. The second time it didn't do that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So we've both got 3 options. So we're going to quickly go through the 3 options. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have OpenAI's, whatever their premium product is. We're going to have OpenAI. We have OpenAI ChatGPT 4.5 to go through and validate the research that our Agentic AI market researchers have done and recommend us the best option. So we might have to do some prompting around, like, obviously how, I mean, we've sort of told it how we want to run this business, but maybe we need to just make sure that OpenAI understands how we want to run this business so it can do it through that lens. All right, let's go through the three options. So these are the three that Claude gave me. The first one was AI-powered industry-specific RFP response platform. So I think it's a problem for a lot of organizations. Well, I guess anyone that is B2B is that the RFP processes are slow and clunky, and getting all the right information together is a bit of a nightmare. Basically, the idea for that is that you deploy agents for specific industries, multi-agent orchestrate for complex compliance requirements, integrate with industry-specific knowledge bases and regulatory databases, and provide real-time collaboration between AI agents handling different aspects. Second option was continuous compliance monitoring platform for SMEs. I'm assuming that means small to medium enterprises.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, it hasn't told me otherwise. Compliance management software market, USD 33 billion in 2024, but SMEs are underserved. So basically the whole idea of this is to provide continuous monitoring versus like periodic compliance checks. So we have agents go and do that continuous monitoring for specific industries. And then the third option was real-time B2B data quality enrichment service. Apparently, IBM estimates that in the US alone, poor data quality costs institutions an average of $3.1 trillion US dollars every year. So companies lose approximately 15 million annually due to poor data quality decisions. So this is really about using agents to monitor data quality in real time. It says moving to waterfall enrichment has been a game changer. I don't know what that means, but I guess we're going to find out.
It's a bit of word salad from.
I don't know what that means, but I guess we're going to find out. And obviously, the first, it's recommended the first one to the RFP response. My response to that is like, because I've seen a lot of organizations try to do this, and I know it's really hard. So, but we are going to get OpenAI to validate the research and make a recommendation. So if it recommends that one, I'm going to disagree and commit. Matt, what did Gemini come up with? It was completely different.
It is.
It's completely different.
Gemini came up with three. So the first one is the AI-powered paralegal for solo and small law firms. Mm-hmm. Their primary pain points are excessive non-billable hours, high cost and complexity of existing software, and challenges in legal research.
Mm-hmm.
So it's suggesting that the problems could be solved by intelligent case management, AI-assisted legal research, which might make some sense, as long as it's not making up actual.
Well, it's like I was
cases.
saying to Matt before, in the UK, I think it's just become a disbarable offence is if you put forward precedents that are hallucinated by AI, you can be disbarred. So that is a little bit scary. But anyway, carrying on, Matt. Sorry, go.
That's all right. It claims the US legal tech market is projected to reach over 60 billion by 2032. Anyway.
Wow.
Citation needed there. So that's the first one. Second one is the grant guru for small nonprofits. Time consuming. The underserved problem is around complex grant writing processes. So obviously nonprofits rely on grants and donations and all sort of stuff to exist. And time consuming for grant writing, difficulty in finding the right funding opportunities which align with the nonprofit's mission and programs, and burdensome reporting requirements. So the reporting and compliance requirements can be overwhelming for small teams. So it recommends that. So it reckons the addressable market is 4 billion. Will exceed 4 billion by 2032. Again, don't know if it's true or not.
Calculated that number. Don't
Maybe
know.
we might do some offline research and get back to
Well,
you.
we need OpenAI to just re-research this and validate it with publicly
Yeah.
available data. So let's keep going. Sorry, I
Oh,
keep
last one,
interrupting you.
yes, that's right. The last one is the AI content copilot for the solo creator. So the creator economy is booming, but
I love that.
individual creators face significant challenges in constantly producing high quality content. Gee, this rings true across multiple platforms.
This is a problem that's close to home.
Very close. Creator
God,
burnout. Well, we don't really have burnout,
I
but
definitely do, but that's more because I have an
it's a
autoimmune
different
disease.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
The content treadmill, the pressure to publish frequently, yes, on platforms like TikTok, YouTube. We don't publish on TikTok. Well,
No, we do not.
not in this format anyway.
No.
YouTube, Instagram, or personal blog is immense, and inefficient content repurposing. Manually adapting a single piece of content for different platforms is time consuming. Well, that's true. The digital only solution, AI driven content creation, well, content ideation, not creation, because no one will read AI driven content creation. Just let the AI create the content. It'll probably produce a whole bunch of rubbish. Automated content repurposing, that's a good idea, and intelligent scheduling and publishing. So that sounds good. Addressable market. It just says it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not being specific there. With millions of creators, which is true. Well, there's even a go-to-market here. Your AI content copilot, create more, stress less. Love it.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, it recommends the AI-powered paralegal, which is,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's a problem. I don't know, 60 billion, we need to work out if that's true or not.
The only
But
lawyers I
it
know are
might
like
be.
big lawyers, so this doesn't resonate with me at all, just because I don't know anything about it. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to tell 4.5 everything that Claude and Gemini have come up with, and we're going to ask it to prioritize, tell us which one it thinks is best, but also maybe to give us some like pros and cons, and we'll probably also give it some like context about who we are and what we do, because I feel like that's relevant as well. If we're going into an area that we don't know anything about, then I'm a little bit scared about that. But anyway, all right, we'll be right back.
I'll give the verdict. So we have a prioritized list. So we gave OpenAI a bit of a prompt to say that we're doing this experiment, and the experiment needs to be interesting for our listeners. So it's sort of reviewed each of the options, so 6 options, the 3 from Claude and 3 from Gemini, and it's come up with this list, which we kind of agree with, or at least the winner anyway.
Oh, I think we're still discerning the list, aren't we? We're going to have to stop and think about this for a minute.
We'll think about it. Okay. Edit point. The list will be reviewed over the next week or so before our next episode, and we'll come back with the verdict. But anyway, the prioritized list that he's given us, should I start from bottom up? We'll do bottom up. So it's the worst option is continuous compliance monitoring. Apparently that would not be very interesting for our listeners, it told us. Could be boring, and compliance it's probably important, but could be boring. So we kind of agree with that. The next worst, number 5, so is real-time B2B data quality and enrichment. Number 4 is AI-powered industry-specific RFP response platform. It's technically intriguing, but it could be complex, multi-agent orchestration, and less emotional appeal, apparently. Option 3 is, number 3 is, the third best option, I guess, is the grant guru for non-profits, for small profits, which is interesting. The second best one is AI-powered paralegal. Again, that's probably a good idea, actually.
Someone that knows the industry should do that.
Yeah, we don't know the industry, but
we do not.
If we have listeners who are lawyers or in the legal industry, take the idea and go run with it, because apparently there's a huge market there, according to AI anyway. And the most suitable idea is the AI content copilot for the solo creator. It's highly relatable, visually demonstratable. Is that even a word? Broad audience interest and addresses widespread
Demonstrable?
problems. Demonstrable. Yeah, maybe I said it
Demonstrable. Is
wrong.
that the word?
I think it
Maybe
is.
I'm
I think
wrong.
it
Maybe
is.
I'm
I
wrong.
think demonstrable is a word. And addresses a widespread problems like burnout and creativity, which we, in some ways, understand that. What are your thoughts, Georgia?
I I love that idea. And I feel like it's also probably less fraught with like potential regulatory challenges, especially, yeah,
Yeah.
with some of the other ones, I'm a bit like, I'm a little worried about that because you and I have played in lots of highly regulated industries. So I want to try to avoid things that are highly regulated. As I think social media is a really quite, especially because a lot of it's American driven, right? So there's a lot of like freedom to operate in that space. So I really like the idea, but I think we should go and review our agents' reports, and we're going to come back in our next episode where we're going to tell our listeners what we've chosen after we've thought about it. And then we're going to start talking about how we go about ideating the specific solution in order to address the problem, and then how we go into architecture.
Indeed. Be super fun. I like the architecture part because that's what I do every day. We've been doing a little bit of research offline as well around different. This industry is moving so fast. There's not really established architectures yet to build these sorts of systems, but they're developing. So
We're going to create them.
We're going to create them and use what other
This
people
is our
have been
test
using
case.
and be agile and see how it works out. I think that's all for this week. A little bit of a
I think
different
so.
episode.
Please hit us up with any thoughts on potential guests for our journey, for the journey that we're going to be taking over the next few, I don't know, months. It's probably going to take a little bit of trial and error. Let's see how we go. If you got any ideas, please comment or send us an email. Feedback at cloud-dialogues.com. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
No worries. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.